So when you start a project, how much do you actually plan before you start that project? So this week I've been working on my comic for the 100s anthology, and I've been working on the thumbnail portion of the comic, which is part of the planning process. You don't just jump into a comic. I mean, you can, but there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So I was thinking, specifically about planning. I have 3 reasons why I think that you should spend some time in the planning stages. One of them is the more upfront work you do, the easier it is in the later stages. Another thing is planning helps you to organize your ideas. Also helps the audience, whoever's going to read or listen to whatever you're creating. It creates clarity, which makes your whole purpose and message come across way better. If you plan correctly, you will avoid wasting time and effort, which I think we could all use, especially on a big project. So now that we've established, at least in my opinion, that planning is a good thing to do, how do we plan? What can we do to make a better plan? Well, there's different approaches, and what I want to talk about is 2 approaches: the written approach and the visual, like art approach. So with the written approach, you can do various different things. You can do kind of like free writing, where you just kind of do like a brain dump of everything you're thinking about a certain project. You can just throw it out in paragraphs, just type away until your heart's content, and just get everything out. It's a good way to do it, and then you kind of go back and edit it. You can also do like mind maps and things like that, where you kind of write what your goal is in the center, and then you kind of branch out all the different ideas from that. There's a lot of different ways to approach these things. You can also do like dictation. You can actually record from your phone or whatever recording device you have. You can dictate your ideas almost the same way as a brain dump, and then go back and kind of write that out later. And one thing you can do with the written approach is you can do multiple drafts. It might seem like, is that wasted effort? But no, I don't think it's wasted effort. I think that if you do multiple drafts, you can kind of refine as you go, and it helps you to understand exactly what you're trying to bring across even better for yourself, which will again bring more clarity to those who are listening or reading or watching whatever it is that you create. One time that I have seen this happen before is when I was younger. My mom, she went to school for computers, and I think she was like learning how to build computers and things like that. And I remember she aced all her classes, and I was really impressed and proud of her that she did that. It was really cool to see. And I remember one thing that she did is she would write her notes like in class, and then she would go home and she would rewrite all her notes again, and she would kind of refine it. And the more she rewrote the notes, she actually learned that stuff better. So that's kind of how it's a little bit of a different thing, but I think it works the same with multiple drafts. You get to cut away parts that maybe weren't so important, and you can add little bits that you might have forgot or not thought of in the original writing process. So it's a very, it's not wasted time. It is actually a good idea to do multiple drafts. Now with the visual approach, I kind of mix like the mind mapping with the written approach and the visual, because it's kind of both. There's words involved, but it also is kind of a visual approach, because you can kind of put things in sections and circle them and put lines going to, so that's kind of a visual approach as well. But other things you can do is like you can do sketches, you can do thumbnails, you can do like storyboards. I've actually been thinking for my YouTube videos to start doing storyboard. I think I might start doing storyboards for the more complicated, more edited videos. But whatever it is your project is, it doesn't hurt to do a little drawing. And if you're not the type of creative person who is a visually creative person, if you're an art, when I include artists, I mean anybody who does any kind of creative thing, like music. You could be writing novels, you could be having ideas for films or whatever. You could have all kinds of things. So you might not necessarily be able to draw, but that you shouldn't let that stop you. One thing that's interesting is If you've ever played Pictionary, I know I have, and I'm usually like the artist that's at these Pictionary games, and that doesn't make me the best at Pictionary. And a lot of times people want me on their team, and it's like, well, I don't know if that's a good decision, because when it comes to something like Pictionary, it's not about making a beautiful drawing, although that of course can help, in anything, any kind of visual communication. But what it's really, it's about communicating an idea. And if you can do that with shapes, simple shapes, stick figures, anything like that, I mean, getting good at drawing stick figures is actually something that's helpful for even people who make like visual art, like comics and stuff. Sometimes as an artist, I actually need to use tools like pens and Sharpies and things like that to stop me from noodling at something and trying to make it a beautiful piece of art. I just need to get the idea out so I can figure out how I'm going to lay out the page, or how I'm going to get the comic in order, because I make comic books, so that's definitely something you need thumbnails for. And again, for video and filming and stuff, storyboards are a really helpful process. And even in writing, I think if you were writing a novel, it might help to visually kind of put some of those things into order, to help you kind of organize your thoughts on how you're gonna move through the progress of the novel. I don't know. You tell me if you write novels. I've never done that. So the only thing I would say that might be a hindrance in planning is you could either plan too much or you could plan too little. You want to like find a happy medium. You want to find your own recipe. You want to find just the best way for you. Everybody's got like a different system, a different method that works for you, but you're never going to find it if you're not doing it often, too much planning can be a problem because you can run into like procrastinating. So you'll be planning and maybe you're just getting to the point where you're developing this and developing that, and you never actually get to, whatever it is you're creating, like the story or whatever. It can be a form of procrastination or distraction, or you can just get caught up in it. It's fun to do that aspect of it too. So it's easy to do that. I know I've done it, and a lot of people have done it, and it can halt you from actually starting or even coming to anywhere close to finishing a project. So you want to try to avoid that, but you experiment and you're going to figure it out. You could also plan too little, and that's the one I tend to be even more, that's the mistake I make more often than not. And what happens when you plan too little, sometimes it can work out, it can be cool because it's like spontaneous, but a lot of times the project will come out very much half-baked, and you can tell, you might put something out there in the public, and if it's kind of half-baked and you're not getting a lot of views or you're not getting a lot of people into what you're doing, it might be because you took some shortcuts or you didn't plan it enough. It's good to like just keep creating projects so you kind of figure out your own recipe. And then last but not least, there's the no plan method, which is another interesting thing and kind of goes with the too little planning or the half-baked thing. Now, this is kind of, it is actually a good method though, I think, for certain instances. One way to do it is if it's your first time creating something, like for me, my first time creating a mini comic, I won't say there was no planning, but compared to all the comics I've done since, there was the least amount of planning in that. And making a comic is such a big task. Even a mini comic, it's really hard. There's a lot of aspects to think about when you're making a comic that if I had gotten too stuck in the planning stages, I might have never made my first comic. So for me, kind of going with a no plan method actually helped me to start and finish. I had a deadline actually, so I had to get it done. That helped me to execute. And that's a really good thing. It goes along with the last video I did about starting. Just get started on your project. Another time where a no plan method might work out to your advantage is if you're doing like a smaller project or you're doing some kind of a challenge. A lot of people, I'm going to talk about comics a lot because that's what I work on a lot, but a lot of people do things like the 24-hour comic day, and that is, you're kind of supposed to go in with a no plan method. You literally, I mean, some people do different things, but a lot of people will go in and it's like, okay, for 24 hours I'm making a page every hour and I got to figure out the story as I go. Bam, like, hour starts, let's do it, let's start drawing, let's start coming up with ideas, and you do it, and you come up with something interesting, and it is a big challenge. I don't think I'd ever do that because just staying up for 24 hours would be something really tough for me. Another reason to go with the no plan method is if you do a lot of procrastination to the point where you literally never start anything. Again, back to the last video I did. You gotta get started. It's more important that you get started, and it's more important that you finish a project than any of this planning stuff. But what you're gonna find out when you go with a no plan method is, you'll make something cool, but you probably will find out that I kind of wish this part was better and that part was better, and maybe next time I can do a little better. So you do a little more planning the next time. You spend a little more time on, the thumbnails or the script or the dialogue or whatever aspect it is that you're lacking in. And I found that with each comic that I do, I've been spending a little more and a little more and a little more time with planning, and they're getting better and better and better. And last but not least, the no plan method can be a great way to learn a lot in a very quick amount of time. Again, you'd want to do these with smaller projects. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to create, the great American novel or a graphic novel, or I'm going to create a full-length film, and I'm going with the no plan method. No, it's better to start with small projects, get a lot of those under your belt. Get, if you're a comic person, make mini comics. If you're making music, maybe make like 3 to 5 song EPs, and if you're doing like novels, or you want to do a novel, start with short stories, have like a word limit and stuff like that. So, and in those cases, you can kind of go in with a no plan method, or you can do the small amount of planning, and then again, make it an exercise to where you get better and better and do more and more planning as you go. And I think that will help you. I hope that will help you. I know it's helped me. I've done that incrementally with my projects, and it's been tremendous help. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about the subject of planning. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed this, if this helped you, or if you think that this might help somebody else who is working on a project, feel free to share this. And also please subscribe if you want to hear more of this kind of thing. I do these every Wednesday, The Artist's Advantage, to kind of get you through the hump of the Wednesday, and just keep working on your projects and stuff. Hopefully this is encouraging. So yeah, like I said, thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. I'm Marshall from DonkeyDrawProjects.com, and I will see you next Wednesday for the next Artist's Advantage. Peace out.